Hello. We all rely on people we'll never know, even if we don't realize it yet. Let me tell you about the last 55 days. My name's Jim McDevitt. I'm a writer, a vehicle damage appraiser for a large insurance company, a cancer philanthropy disruptor. I live in Philadelphia. I've ridden 560 plus miles each of the last 7 years for the Empire State Ride, fundraising for cancer research at the Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center. In that time, since 2019, I have raised over $46,000 for Roswell Park. It will be over $46,000 once a large corporate match hits from my Super Bowl squares that I did earlier this year. So anyway, before I get off track here, I'm just going to be speaking here freely from the heart. This is something I've never done before. The way I'm talking here, this story that I'm about to share is something that I've never approached before, but I think it's important, and I'm just going to share it with you. Oh yeah, one more thing I want to add about myself. I'm also a writer, and I've co-authored two books about the films of Alfred Hitchcock with a wonderful person by the name of Eric San Juan, who is a big part of all of this. So that kind of tells you who I was as of January 22nd. On January 23rd, my life changed, and it changed forever and permanently. And let me tell you, it has been the most magical experience of my life. January 23rd. So actually, January 21st, I had flown to San Diego. I live in Philadelphia, and I just needed a trip away, just to get away for a while to clear my head. I had been scheduled to have that whole week off from work. Was originally scheduled to travel with some friends up to New Hampshire to visit another friend for a few days, but those plans ended up falling through, and so I was left with a week off of work that I didn't previously have something scheduled. And I knew I wanted to do something. I didn't want to just sit at home. I also didn't want to spend a ton of money, so I just went on to Priceline.com and started to look and see what options are available to me for an interesting trip that I could take that won't be too expensive. And I had always wanted to visit San Diego, and I had previously booked a trip to San Diego back in 2014 that ended up falling through when I was laid off after 8 years working for Wells Fargo at the time. And once that happened, with my career in limbo, I decided to cancel the trip. I ended up resuming my career with Wells Fargo eventually months later, but never rescheduled the trip. And then I got laid off by Wells Fargo again in 2022. But now I work for this wonderful insurance company. I won't name them publicly right now, but eventually they might get mentioned. Anyway, before I digress too much, I found a trip on Priceline to San Diego for $571, including flight, hotel, and rental car. Now, this was the worst motel I've ever stayed in. No, maybe not the worst, but the worst one I've stayed in a long time. It was the Motel 6 in downtown San Diego. It was a horrible place. I slept terribly. The bed was ridiculously soft. It was horribly uncomfortable. The thermostat did not work. So I was simultaneously hot and cold at various times the entire 3 days that I was there. It was horrible. But you know what? It ended up being the most incredible trip of my life. And let me tell you why. The first day that I was there, I went to the San Diego Zoo, saw some amazing animals. I adore wild animals, and I understand that zoos are not necessarily the best way to treat animals. I think the people behind the San Diego Zoo are very cognizant of trying to do the right thing. And so it is a wonderful place, and I had a wonderful time there. Also visited some breweries while I was there, and then the last day that I was there, which was Friday, the 23rd of January, I was on the fence about what I wanted to do. I had given myself three options. The primary option when I was planning the trip was to visit the world famous Joshua Tree National Park, and that was what I wanted to do because it certainly was the most unique. But the other options I gave myself were to visit the Maritime Museum in San Diego. That's something I've also always wanted to do. I've always kind of been fascinated with Navy ships. My one grandfather was in the Navy himself. So that was a possibility. And then the other possibility, a lot of you may know that I'm an avid cyclist. And the other option then was to rent a bicycle and just ride somewhere around San Diego. So before I went to bed that Thursday night, the night before, I had decided, yes, I'm going to go to Joshua Tree because that's the most unique option and the one that's most likely to produce a lasting memory. And so I was set. But then the horrible motel decided to do its thing and treat me to a third consecutive night of very poor sleep. Also, combined with, I won't get into the details, but I have a very minor medical issue that I require medication that keeps it under control, and I had left it in Philadelphia. So I was without my medication for a few days, which it just made sleep a little bit more difficult, but it didn't change anything about how the whole experience ended up being for me. So I don't think I slept a single minute Thursday night. And around 6:30 in the morning, I just decided I can't sleep anymore. I need to make a decision. What do I want to do? Do I really want to try to drive 3 hours to Joshua Tree on no sleep? Boy, that may not have been the safest choice, but it's the choice I made. And the reason I made it was because I just, again, stuck to the idea that this is the most unique option. Let's take advantage of it. How often am I going to be in Southern California? Well, I don't know, but I'll tell you the trip to Joshua Tree ended up being the single event that has changed my life dramatically going forward, and let me tell you why. I grew up with a tremendous sense of self-doubt that I was aware of, but I don't know that I was ever fully aware of how impactful it was on my life. And this self-doubt came from childhood. I won't get into the details today about what the source of the self-doubt is. We can talk about that some other time. But what I do want to say is that being in Joshua Tree, it opened up clarity in my brain, in my thinking, in how I'm able to think about everything in my entire life. So I felt Joshua Tree touch my soul. And I know that sounds kind of cliche, but something happened. I don't know that it like physically touched me, but it felt like something physically happened inside of me just being in that park, being just completely wrapped in some of the most beautiful landscape that you can possibly imagine. The individual Joshua trees are just a beautiful tree. The most stunning rock formations I think I've ever seen, even probably better than the ones at Yellowstone, which Yellowstone I still say is my most amazing place I've ever seen, but Joshua Tree is the place that touched me the deepest. So anyway, long story short, I came out of Joshua Tree a completely different person. I'm thinking with a sense of clarity that I never knew was even possible in my entire life. I'm 52 years old now. I turned 52 less than, actually, 3 weeks ago tomorrow. And these last 55 days, since I was at Joshua Tree, every single day, my clarity seems like it's getting better. It's getting stronger. I'm thinking more impactfully. Every day I have ideas that are just amazing. I'm blown away by what capabilities I'm finding in myself now that I'm no longer letting my self-doubt control my decision making. And that self-doubt was everything. And it's funny. I'm now 52 years old, and I'm no longer under the thumb of that self-doubt. But I don't regret having it in any way. Those 52 years of, 51 years and almost 52 before this moment came in Joshua Tree. They have set me up for being the person that I want to be moving forward. So let's get into what I'm doing here. So the idea is I've wanted to organize my life in a way that makes the most sense for me and also for the people around me, because I am genuinely dedicated to wanting to make a difference in the world for good. And the Empire State Ride experience that I've had the last 7 years, and this year will be number 8, have taught me that I'm able to live by a certain mantra that I want to spread to the world. And it's a mantra that was brought to me by an incredible foundation of family members. I want to start with my father, John McDevitt. He was a volunteer firefighter for 5 decades. And he was my hero when I was a kid. And he still is. Why do you ask? Because he's the one that instilled this in me. He lived this mantra my entire life before I or he ever had the words for them. And those words are, show up for people you'll never meet. My dad was never hesitant to go into a burning building to try to save the life of somebody else. He showed up for his community for decades. What better example of paying it forward and recognizing that doing something for people you'll never meet has a lasting impact on the community, and you will benefit yourself from that lasting impact. So it goes in both directions. So this mantra came from my dad. It also came from my grandfather on my mom's side. He's actually my mom's stepfather, but he's the grandfather I knew. His name was Henry Moon. He passed in 2006. But he taught me the important lesson that nobody is a stranger. That man could walk in a room of 100 strangers and none of them would feel like it, because he would take a genuine interest in the person that he was talking to. So that was huge. My grandmother, Bunny Moon, she's 102 years old. She's still going strong. She is the greatest inspiration to me, to our family. She's the matriarch. I don't know the exact time period, but I believe she played the piano for 85 years before she had to give it up a few years ago because the dexterity in her fingers is no longer what she would like it to be able to play the way that she likes. But she never got down about not being able to play the piano anymore. She has subsequently taken up seriously writing poetry. She's 102 and she is still creative, still doing something that is going to show up for people that she'll never meet. How incredible is that? That I was, I was witness to that level of commitment. My mom taught me empathy. Care about other people. Understand that you'll never know what someone else's entire experience has been, what it is. My sister is the person that I called on the way home from Joshua Tree to share this breakthrough with, because she's my oldest confidant, and I want to pledge to her publicly here right now that I want to be a better brother. I don't think I've been a bad brother, but I can be a better one, and that's what I want to be. So thank you for always being a good sister. So let's get a little bit into what I see happening moving forward. I don't want this video to go on forever. I actually am now late for work, but I don't care. This video is more important than my work today. I'm still going to go to work and work hard. Don't you worry. But let me tell you, I'm sitting here in a parking lot in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania, and this is a parking lot for a salvage yard. A place where vehicles come after they have been destroyed in an accident. So the reason I chose to film this video here is because this is actually the location of where the movement got started. I had this idea that I've adopted this mantra of show up for people you'll never meet. And I was thinking, like, I want people to live by those words. They don't necessarily need to adopt them as their own mantra, but if they're cognizant of those words in their thinking, if people can try to think of what is the effect of what they're doing on the other people around them, and what can they do to just be a person that affects positive change and vibes and whatnot for the people in their community that they may never meet. So I decided to start a Facebook group. The Facebook group is called Show Up for People You'll Never Meet. It is live. There are 30 founding members that I have asked to kind of start things. There have been a few stories shared already. I'm going to be opening the group publicly today for anybody that sees this video, anybody that shares this video, that thinks there's value to it. There's value to the words show up for people you'll never meet. Share it. And then the idea behind the group is to have people share their stories of how they show up for people they will never meet, and also in the other direction, how they have benefited from the mantra in the other direction, that they benefit from things that happen that other people they will never meet did. And really that is the full circle thing of where this all came about. It's out of gratitude for my dad. My dad in 2021 was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma that had metastasized. That's not a very good prognosis. or diagnosis. The prognosis wasn't great either. We don't need to get into the specifics of what happened, but he went through 18 rounds of chemotherapy. And unfortunately, all they did was make him sick. The chemotherapy did absolutely nothing to reduce the cancer. And things didn't always look good. There was a time where I was genuinely worried that we were going to lose him. Anyway, in 2023, early 2023, my dad was afforded the opportunity to come to my city, Philadelphia, where Penn Medicine is, and he received CAR T-cell therapy at Penn Medicine while he was in Philadelphia. And not only was it a nice experience for me because he got to spend some time in my city, and I got to visit him regularly while he was there. That therapy, I think, is a large part of why now, more than 4 years after his original diagnosis, his cancer is in remission. Think about that. My dad's cancer is in remission largely because people showed up for him that he will never meet. We'll get more into detail of a lot of that stuff here, probably in some subsequent videos. But I just want to share that we all benefit when we show up for people we'll never meet. So if this video has said anything to you, or if it's resonated with you, or if you think it will resonate with anybody else, if it may give anyone some hope that if you're feeling the pressure of self-doubt, examine why that self-doubt came to you and see if it opens some clarity for you. You might be surprised at what you're able to do, and I just want everybody to take that as a lesson, to examine yourself and give yourself grace. And for anybody that felt like me for the first 51 years and change of your life, where you felt like you were smart, you were as smart as anybody in the room, that you were capable of doing things, but there was always something that said, nah, you're not that person, that you can't do that. You don't need to listen to that self-doubt. And I'm proof of it. The last 55 days have been conclusive proof for me that can change in anybody. Because I've had 55 consecutive days of improving clarity in thought. And the quality of my ideas right now is, and I'm not bragging when I say this, the quality of my ideas is just better than it was prior to January 23rd. So I want to give everybody that's watching this that may feel self-doubt, there's hope out there. And I want to conclude it with something that I think is very true. Hope is undefeated at the long game. And the long game's getting shorter. And you can help. Much love to everybody. Please, if you found this video at all valuable and are interested in seeing what happens next, before I really end this, I do need to share the big plan for this YouTube channel going forward is that I want to share my story. I want to hopefully inspire some people to show up for people they'll never meet, but I also want to share stories of other people that show up for people, for everybody else, because there are countless great stories of work that is already being done by people that will never meet the beneficiaries of that work. And that is so inspiring. So let's keep it up. Happy Thursday. It's cloudy here at the salvage yard in Conshohocken, but the spirits in my head are bright and sunny. And much love to everybody. Please like and subscribe, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.